If you ask yourself, why am I here? What is my purpose? How can I fulfill my potential? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Lifestyle, Relationships, and Career Human Design Podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Naja from vanessanaja.com. My mission is to help you be on purpose and fulfill your potential by aligning in body, mind, and spirit so you can feel empowered, joyful, connected, and free. I'm so excited to share with you how to do that through human design. If it feels aligned, I'd love it if you subscribe and share. Now let's get to the episode. It's always a good idea to have your human design chart with you when listening. You can get yours for free at my website, vanessanaja.com/free chart. Link is in the show notes. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 24, where we will be talking about the G Center in human design. And the G Center, which is shown as the diamond shape in the middle of your body graph. So it's fourth from the top, third from the bottom. Usually it's shown as a diamond. Now there are some different types of software out there. Sometimes it's shown as a heart, but as long as you're in the right place, fourth from the top, third from the bottom, that is your G Center. And this is actually the most mystical place in the human design chart. It is the center for love, identity, and direction. And this is where the magnetic monopole lives. And the magnetic monopole in human design is like a magnet that pulls into your existence the experiences that you need to have in this lifetime to really fulfill your potential. As long as you're living according to your design, following your strategy and authority, and really living in alignment. Now remember, centers, depending on how a center is configured, how you experience this energy is going to be different. So if this diamond shape in the center of your body graph is colored in, that means it's defined. And you have very consistent experience with this energy. You radiate this out to other people. This is part of your nature. If it is in white or not colored in, it is undefined. And that just means your energy here, it's going to be a little bit more inconsistent. And it's a place of really deep potential wisdom for you. Neither is better or worse. They are just different. And again, depending on how it's configured, and even with it being defined or undefined, it still can be configured in different ways. Just means the energy is going to show up for you differently. So remember, undefined means this is more of like your nurture. So there is potential to really be influenced by this energy from other people. And this could show up as shadows and distractions. It could also show up as wisdom over time. So let's talk a little bit more about how you might experience this depending on how it is configured. Before we get into that, this is the center for love, and that includes self-love. And love really is what holds us all together, what holds the universe together. It's the most powerful energy in the universe. And so many of us, regardless of how our G center is configured, are always looking for love or identity outside of ourselves. Self-acceptance lives in the center as well. We're looking for love and acceptance from things outside of ourselves. But you see in the body graph, we all have the center, and whether it's defined or undefined doesn't matter. We have it. And that love and that acceptance lives inside of us. And really connecting to that is such a huge gift that really helps you align with your life in the most beautiful way. So love, self-acceptance is where this all begins. And when you're really able to love and accept yourself, you will draw in love and acceptance from the outside as well. And remember, the key is to following your strategy and authority so that you're really living in alignment as yourself and free from the conditioning of the outside world that is not who you are. So if you have this center, and remember, all centers, whether they're defined or undefined, can operate from a low expression to a high expression. This can show up in a healthy state. It can show up in an unhealthy state. And as you go through the deconditioning process, following your strategy and authority, living according to your design, this is how we move into the high expression of the center. So If you have a center defined and you have more consistent access to this in its low expression or in its unhealthy expression, you can often question of can you be accepted for who you are because you have your identity and direction is fairly fixed in the center. So often you may question like if you can actually be accepted for who you are. You also may feel a sense of loss in your life. You might give up on yourself. When you're in the low expression of this, you may not feel connected to your identity and your direction. You may be consistently lacking in self love and self acceptance. And you can also, because you have this defined and you radiate this out in the world, you might expect other people to go along with your identity and direction, even if that's not correct for them. And you could also try to direct or lead other people into identity or direction, even though that wasn't requested of you. You also might feel super disconnected from yourself, from your center, from your sense of identity and direction, and as a result, find yourself without meaningful work. Or you could also find that you're really trying to push, that you're worrying a lot, that you're trying to push to make things happen rather than letting them come to you. And remember that magnetic monopole is going to draw those things to you that are correct for you when you're operating in your high expression. So there's no need for pushing or making or forcing things to happen. And in its high expression, you're going to be really comfortable with your identity, with yourself, with your direction. You will be connected to self-love and self-acceptance. You can really have a sense of your mission in life. And you don't necessarily need to know how you're going to fulfill your direction or your mission. You just have to trust that it does show up for you and that the steps will unfold as you are following your strategy and your authority. You're also able to help other people with their direction. You can comfort people that are feeling really lost and lacking self direction. And even by being in your healthy aura with a healthy expression of your defined G center, other people can be more connected to their own identity and direction. You're also able to love others in a way that is healthy, where you're not dependent on them. So, not being in a codependent situation, but being able to love others while still allowing them their independence and allowing them to be who they are, allowing others to have their own direction, even if it is different from yours. And you also will naturally be recognized for the ways that you contribute to others through your work, through your life, and the things that you're doing. Remember that having the center defined, it can, even though your identity and your direction is more fixed, it can still transform and change over time as you go through that deconditioning process. And you want to really trust that your direction is there and it is going to show up in time. If you have the center undefined, meaning it's not colored in your chart, again, this is a place where you really can be conditioned by others, and this can show up as shadows, distractions, and you want to just be really aware of this. So people that have the center undefined, they can often feel like they are lacking direction. They might be confused in their role in life. They may always be searching for love and direction. They're always looking for it. Where do I need to go? What do I need to do to be loved? Where is my direction? And you can also really question your lovability. And this can become a driver for the decisions that you make and for the paths that you take. So remember, you always want to be guided by your own inner authority of what the correct decision is for you. And if you are being driven by do things that you think will make you feel more lovable or worthy of love, even though they're not the correct things for you, that's going to lead you down the wrong path. So being aware of that when you are making decisions, when you are going in directions, are you picking things that are not right for you because you think that they will make you more lovable or they will give you some sense of fixed direction? And remember, you are not designed to have a fixed direction. You actually have a very fluid direction with this undefined center. You want to be really careful about peer pressure. You might be more susceptible to it. Other people might pressure you to be more like they are. Other people, you want to be aware if somebody's trying to pull you in their direction that is not actually coming for you. And You are very sensitive to the environment and to the people around you. Environment and the people you surround yourself with are super, super, super important to you. When you are in the right environment and with the right people, your life is going to flow easier. And remember, because you're open here, you are taking in and amplifying the identity and direction of other people. And this is why being around the right people is so important. And this needs to happen in the right environment. You have almost like an extra sense here, like geomagnetic alignment. If your life is really not flowing and you are super struggling, you want to ask yourself, am I in the right place? Am I with the right people? Finding that right place is super important for you. And you can even play around with in your environment, moving furniture around, decorating in a different way, finding what is actually correct for you. And sometimes you may need to find a whole new environment and surround yourself with different people that will really help you with your sense of identity and direction. Now, in this high expression, you do have that variability in your path and your life direction. And you have a healthy sense of self and knowing that your path and your direction is variable. And that's totally okay. There is nothing wrong with that. You are able to really give yourself a sense of direction and purpose, and you are surrounding yourself with the right people and in the right environments where you can interact with that. You want to spend time around people that motivate and inspire you. And you also want to know that there is for you, there's no such thing as the wrong direction. Everything is just exploration. You have the ability to pick and choose from all of the different directions that are available to you. You get to experience them, take them in over time, and decide what is actually correct for you so that you can find the right sense of identity and direction. Having an undefined center means this is a sense of really great wisdom for you, a potential of great wisdom over time. As you are experiencing all of these different energies, you really get to choose what is right for you. And you know in your high expression and the wisdom that you are really sensitive to environment and people. And so you make sure to spend time in the right places with the right people. And you're not afraid to leave a place that doesn't feel correct for you. So if you are, say you go into a restaurant and you really just feel like you just have this sense like something is really off, leave because it is not the right place for you. And even if you are with the right people in that place, it's not going to be correct. And you want to be really careful about trying to keep other people happy if they feel like it's the right place for them. You're very sensitive to your environment. You need to be in the right place. And you are also really wise about knowing that you don't have a fixed identity and that that's absolutely okay. That is the way that you were designed. Because you are able to sense other people's identity and direction, you are able to really understand who has a good, healthy sense of identity and direction. And you're also able to mirror back and support people that don't. So it's actually not uncommon for therapists and healers to have an open G center where they can really feel and experience other people's identity and direction, feed that back to them, and give them new perspectives. And you also might have a number of different roles in life. So, like I said, your path isn't fixed. It's okay to change direction, to have different roles. You are not necessarily that person that woke up at age 5 at some point, decided that you were going to be a doctor or an astronaut or whatever it is, and just follow that direction. Your path may shift and change, and that is absolutely okay. So, that's it for the G center, the most mystical center in human design. Whether you have it defined or undefined, you have access to self-love, acceptance, identity, and direction. And the most important thing is to really live in alignment as who you are, follow your strategy and authority, and also find these deconditioning practices that will work for you. And that, I mean, the list for that is endless. But you can think of things like breath work, hypnotherapy, EFT, Reiki, so many different practices that can help you with this deconditioning process, so many different kinds of meditative practices to really come back to yourself and release anything that is not you and is not serving you. So again, strategy and authority will guide you to the right place. So thank you so much for listening. And if you want to really dive deep into your G center and how it is configured, 'cause it's very much going to be affected by any gates or channel activations you have on it, as well as lines that are associated with that. And it is also influenced by the rest of your chart. I invite you to book a reading. That is the best and really the only way to see how this all synthesizes and works together. And I will leave a link in the show notes on how to book that. Thank you so much. If you want to dive deeper, I invite you to get a free human design mini reading report at vanessanaja.com/free mini reading, or book a human design reading with me. Links are in the show notes. That's it for today's episode. I know your time is important, and I'm so grateful you chose to spend it with me. It would mean the world to me if you engage with the episode by liking, subscribing, commenting, and letting me know any questions you have or what else you'd like to learn about. And the absolute best compliment is if you share with someone you think will benefit. It really helps me spread the message. Love and blessings to you.